My next guest is going to be back in action at Maverick MMA 16 coming up here on June 26th. It is Jimmy Drago joining me here on the program for the very first time. Jimmy, how's it going?
Going great, man. Good to be here.
Hey, good to be talking to you as well. Excited about this fight. Before we get into the matchup, like I mentioned, first time you and I have had a chance to chat. How did you get involved in combat sports?
You know, it was something my father put me in when I was younger, and it's nothing I ever really stuck with. And I'd say around 5 years ago, I kind of just tried to put my all into it and found out I was good at something that I never knew I was really that good at. So I decided to just run with it.
Excellent. Were you like an MMA fan sort of by proxy? Because like you said, your dad was sort of into it, but when did you start watching MMA and becoming like a UFC fan?
The oldest memories I think I remember is really just watching John Jones on his rise and watching it. And that's when I think they were having fights like every, I don't know, a pay-per-view every 4 or 5 months, and watching him choke out Lyoto Machida at a friend's house. Mm-hmm. And seeing this 23, 24-year-old guy rise up the ranks and just take out all the legends, I think is something that really attracted me to the sport.
Interesting. Is John still one of your favorite fighters now, or is there some other fighters?
John is always going to be one of my favorite fighters. And, I got a few of them. I love Dillashaw. I love John Jones. I love Bobby Knuckles. I like all the scrappy guys, Gaethje, all the guys that just like to show up and throw leather.
It's one thing to train MMA, and then it's another thing to actually pursue this as a career. At what moment did you know this was something you wanted to do as a career? Was it that first amateur fight? Was it even before that? Or was it when for you did you know that this was something you wanted to do?
Luckily for me, I have a primary career. I belong to one of the best locals in the United States of America, Local 40 Ironworkers. And, this is started out as a hobby. And, sooner or later after doing this a while, you learn that this wasn't a hobby at all. This is more of like a lifestyle. And it's hard to shake that lifestyle when you're doing it every day. It's just who you are. And whatever comes about this career, if you want to call it, is it's either going to be meant to happen or it isn't. And no matter what, I'm just going to keep training and always work hard and pursue this. And, if something great comes about this, great. If not, this will always just be a part of my lifestyle of working hard and training. And just, I think I've always been attracted to just becoming the best dangerous human weapon you could be.
Yeah. And I think, it's good to have that other career, like you were sort of saying there as well. And like you said, it's a lifestyle. It's not something you're necessarily, it's not like do or die for you, right? You've got other stuff that's going on in your life, which is great. I know we're in the pandemic right now, so I know it's been tough for a lot of fighters, especially on the regional scene, to get fights. You haven't been, at least I was just checking it up here. You haven't fought, I think since May of 2019, correct? How difficult has that been, just not being as active as I'm sure you'd like?
You know what? I was used to fighting 3-4 times a year. And, I guess it's just the way the fight game rolls. That fight that I lost, I tell you, I think about that every day, man. They changed the opponent 2 or 3 days before the fight. And then, you go through the loss, you train to get better. And I was supposed to fight again in November. And then, 2 weeks out from the fight, the fighter pulled. And then I was going to fight again in March 15th, 2020. And then 7 days before that fight, the pandemic hit. And, it's just been the story. There's really not much you could do about it. It's the sport we're involved in. Injuries happen, medicals happen. In the entire world's case, a pandemic happened. It wasn't like it was an isolated event. So has it been tough not competing? I'm sparring all the time. I spar all the time. I don't believe in the ring rust. I think if anything, I'll be better. Because of all the training that I've had, I haven't taken any breaks. I'm just, I'm just 130% the entire time. So yeah, I haven't fought in 2 years, but I think it's more of a mental thing.
Yeah, and you've been leveling up, like you said. You've been sparring all the time. I'm sure we're going to see a much different fighter than the last time you fought, with that much time off and that much time in the gym in between. So really excited for that. What do you know about your opponent making his pro debut? How do you feel like you match up against him here?
He's got the same style as the original kid I was supposed to fight. I think Ibrahim's got some heavier hands, though. He shows up and he throws leather. That's from what I've seen, that's what he does. You got to respect everybody's striking. You don't have to accept it, but you got to respect it. And, every fight's a dangerous fight, and that's how this has to be treated. You got to fight smart. You can't get lazy in there. I mean, if you've seen in his previous fights, the kid just throws and he connects. So, it'll be harder to hit a moving target. But I'm glad he stepped up to the plate. He shows up to fight. You got to respect that. And, he's not going to be, fought differently in any way that I've been training for this fight originally.
Training camp, who have been some of your main training partners for this fight?
Main training partners, Victor Mena, Johnny Santos, a buddy of mine, Ibrahim, Harley Burke, professional boxer, 5-0. I've had a lot of guys coming in to help me. I'm working with a new striking coach, Mike Salazar. He goes by the name of Butters. My coach, Sam Margie, of course. And they've all been phenomenal assets to my game.
Excellent. And then weight cut, I'm sure, got some decent notice for this. Do you cut much weight to get to 170, or how's the cut going?
I walk around at around 196, 197. I was getting ready for 171. I got down to 179 last Saturday. So I'm right there. Once they changed the opponent and they said we're going to fight at 76, that's just fucking music to my ears. So I'm there. Weight's not going to be an issue at all.
Okay, gotcha. And your corner, who will be in the cage with you that night?
It's going to be obviously Sam and Margie, my head coach, Mikey Salazar, Butters, and I don't know who the third one is. Either probably a wrestling coach of mine. I don't think they've decided yet.
How's this fight playing out on June 26th?
How's this fight playing out? I feel like no matter what. And like I said, you got to treat every fight as a dangerous fight. And I respect Ibrahim Kallie, but I know what I bring to the table. And, it's out of my hands. I've done everything I can to prepare for this fight. And I see nothing less than my hand getting raised. I fight 9 5-minute rounds. I continuously work on my striking. I fight with great, great, great sparring partners. I wrestle with all Americans, and I don't see it being anything less than my hand being raised.
We talked about the layoff heading into this, not looking past June 26th, but I imagine the plan is to try and keep active, get some momentum going. Is that sort of your idea, post-fight?
One fight at a time. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but, that does seem like the plan. That does seem like the plan. It's now or never.
We talked about fighting. We talked about your job. What about downtime? Like, I know you don't get much of it, but what are some of your other hobbies? Do you watch any other sports? Do you play any video games? Do you watch any Netflix? What do you like doing on the downtime?
Yeah, I'll pick up the Xbox controller here and there. My fiance is laughing in the back because she can't stand it.
What are you playing right now?
I'm all into Warzone, man.
Figured as much. It's it goes hand in hand, fighting in Warzone. It seems like that's pretty much everyone, right?
I picked up I bought a bow and arrow not too long ago. I tried shooting that today. That was pretty fun.
That's cool. Just in the backyard or something, or what do you?
No, they got some target ranges over here that I just trying to kill some time. My biggest problem, James, is that I don't rest, man. I don't rest. It's one of them things. It's like in my head. It's like if I'm not constantly working towards this fight,
you feel useless. Yeah, I know the feeling.
I don't want to bet enough, or I'm moving backwards, and it's a gift, but it's also a curse. If you could kind of understand that, and like. The best thing I could do for myself right now is let my body heal. So days like today where I go shoot a bow and arrow for an hour or so and, run around, take care of some ticket sales and stuff, like it's very optimal for my body right now. But in my mind, it's like the hardest day of the week, so it's good to just, finally take a day to relax because I've been in camp 10, 11 weeks now.
Yeah. No, it's a grind for sure. You're getting enough sleep though. That's the big thing. You talked about not getting rest. At least you're probably getting your 8 hours, right? I would think.
Yeah, I'll get 8 hours, whether I waking up at 8 or 11. Sooner or later, it's as long as it's 8 hours, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sometimes more, sometimes a lot less.
Thanks for having me part of your day off, man. Really appreciate it. It's Maverick MMA 16 coming up here on June 26th. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, no problem. I'd like to thank all my coaches, all my training partners, my family, my fiance, my local, all the people that helped me, sell tickets, sell shirts, my sparring partners that took time out of their weeks to come in and help me. I have a tremendous support system, and this isn't done. This isn't just me. This is all of them. This is all of us working together, and I wouldn't be here, without them. And I'm very grateful towards them. They all know who they are.